I've written quite a few books. Started writing when I was a kid. I published my first book in, I think, 2005. A couple of my books, quite a few of my books, have hit the Amazon bestseller list. But I really feel like I'm writing my debut novel right now because it's been so long since I really put myself out there. Because depression is a thing. So in a lot of ways, I'm rebooting my entire career right now. And I kind of want to talk about that on today's episode of Project Shadow.
Can you hear me? I have something to say. Project Shadow starts now.
Hello everyone, how are you doing today? My name is Charlie. You might know me better as sci-fi fantasy writer C.E. Dorset. And yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about this sheer terror that I've been going through because I really feel like I'm working on my second debut novel right now. And in a lot of ways I am. You see, when I talk about, I had some Amazon bestsellers, I don't know how they would have performed on the other lists because I don't know if you know this or not, and you should, especially if you're a writer or if you take the lists very seriously. You have to be available wide to be included in either the USA Today or the New York Times list. And neither one of those lists is actually made off of pure sales. So you can really go down the rabbit hole and learn a lot about how these are done, but they're not just pure sales numbers that make those lists. But because my books weren't wide at the time, because I was an early partner writer with Amazon, I was publishing exclusively on Amazon digitally. After my first book came out, I got contacted by them and I published exclusively in their shorts program. I was writing with them when they were putting PDFs in your digital locker before there was a Kindle, before there was really an ebook standard. Yeah, I got roped into the Amazon ecosystem very early. And because of that and the relationship that I had developed with them back then, it just didn't even dawn on me to go outside of it because, they were sending me checks. I had work that was selling, I had a fan base that was growing, and I was making some money off of it. So, I just wasn't really thinking about it. But, I do wonder from time to time how some of those books would have done if they had come out wide instead of just been exclusive to Amazon. But the past is the past. And I've talked about it on the show from time to time that, I hit a really deep depression that lasted for years and didn't get anything published. And actually lost most of the relationships that I had in my life, except for the one that I have with my husband, who is a saint for sticking with me through all that. But I basically lost my readership because if I'm not producing books, they forget you. And the algorithms forget you. I mean, even the people out there who still remember Shine Like Thunder or The Chain or Liquid Sky or Fate's Harrow fondly, and those people that I meet every now and then that remember the ill-fated Pharaoh, even if they do remember me, making sure that they know that I'm doing stuff again. A lot of people weren't on social media when my depression started. So while I did have a Facebook presence and while I did have a Twitter presence, I don't even think Instagram was really a thing. I think my depression started before Facebook even bought Instagram. Timelines, they're weird. So, I didn't have that connection, and, that's my bad. And this is one of the reasons why, I'm really stuck on getting something written right now. But it's also why I have set the goal this year of producing at least one book. Because I want to make a comeback. And this really is my comeback tour. When I think about how many people once listened to the podcasts that I do, and I look at the audience that I have now, I am so happy that you all are here. But the numbers are soul crushing because I know where I had been before my brain cratered me into the ground. And with the last two attempts, like half-hearted attempts I had at getting a new book out, the numbers were so different. And it's not like I thought people were waiting around for me to start talking again or to start writing again or anything like that. It's just, I didn't expect it to be this hard because it is starting over again. I'm starting from scratch, even though I have books out, even though I've had success with the books that I have out. I'm starting all over again. And it's a weird feeling. Like, you guys know I watch a lot of AuthorTube and hope one day to have the courage to turn cameras on to be a part of it. And do periodically post over there. That's why there's a link to the YouTube in the show notes. But I'm not as good about that as I want to be. But, I listen to a lot of these newbie writers who are working on their first book. And I feel all that anxiety. I do. It's terrifying because I want people to read my stories. I want people to care about what I'm doing. And yeah, part of that is ego and vanity, but part of that's just because I love these stories and I want other people to love them too. So in some ways, I think it's important for us, especially here on the podcast, to be completely and totally honest with each other. You can always start over. You can always start again. I mean, if nothing else, that's the lesson of my life. But not only is this like doing my first book, it's the first one since I came out as trans. It's the first one since I changed my pronouns. It's the first one since I've kind of figured me out. So it's not just a new book coming out or a new career as a writer or a podcaster or any of those things. It's like this perverse debutante ball that I have to go and prove to the world that, hey, not only am I here, but I am valid. And I don't want to do that. That's not what this is about for me. And I think this is something that's just come with age. I'm in my 40s now, and I've been through a lot in the intervening years. I've been through, just almost too much, I was in my 20s when my career started, and here I am like 2 decades later, just about. I think it's been like 15 years or so since my first book came out. And I don't want the same things. Like, I don't have the same illusions that I had back then. I want to just tell good stories and find other people that are interested in those stories. So why do I feel this terror that I'm going to do it wrong? Why is there this nagging sensation inside of me that, oh, you're enjoying that, and that's a bad thing? Nobody's going to care about this because you're enjoying it too much. And I think part of it is something that I heard, I can't remember who it was talking about the other day, where they were talking about somebody else's experience. So this is like really true telephone, but they had decided to treat one of the projects that they're working on as if they were writing fan fiction. And I used to do that when I was a kid. I used to write fan fiction all the time. And I specifically say when I was a kid because I haven't done it for way too long. And I kind of would like to get back to doing that. But that's all about finding time and energy and whatnot. But that is kind of what I'm doing right now. See, I'm a fan of this genre that I don't know what to call it. It's like somewhere between supernatural drama and supernatural romance. You're Charmed, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Vampire Diaries, the originals, Legacies. Those are all in the same world. But you get what I'm saying, right? This kind of, practical magic where it's about people and magic is there and it's supernatural and strange and weird and kind of scary, but magical and wonderful and beautiful at the same time. And I'm a big fan of that. And not to give too many spoilers because I don't want to do that yet. Even though I did do a logo for the project I'm currently working on and I love it. It's my desktop on the computer right now. And I love it so much and I can't wait to share it, but I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to save it until I'm ready to start sharing more of this with y'all. But, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I mean, this is my fan fiction. I like that kind of story and I'm kind of crafting one. And it's amazing and it's liberating. And I think that's what's scaring me more than anything else. You see, I'm not doing those things that you're told to do as a writer. I'm not studying the market. I'm not looking to see what's popular right now. I'm not going, ooh, the new Twilight book's coming out, so vampires are probably going to be hot again, so maybe I should make sure that I'm fitting right in line with that. I'm not doing any of that. And I probably should. If I really wanted to give this the best chance that it could be, that's probably what I should be doing. But then I would be betraying my own interests. And this is for you creatives out there, no matter what you're doing, art, painting, comics, writing, whatever. This is the most important thing that you need to get through your heads. Because I wish I had done this when I was younger, because it would have kept a lot of the burnout and the stress that led to my depressive episode from building. I don't know that it would have stopped the depression, but it would have helped. Do what you love. That's it. Now, I know that sounds so trite and so just completely useless, but everyone is chasing the market. Everyone's chasing the market. If you chase the market with them, you're going to get lost in the pack. See, I didn't get that for years and chased the market. And the books that I had that actually got finished, that were actually successful by metrics that I deem to be the metrics of success, at least did back then, they were weird books. They were oddballs. They were strange little stories about a kitsune being trapped on a foreign planet by space demons and, a drag bar with actual fairies and dragons and whatnot in it. These are the stories I wanted to write, and they're the stories that I ended up writing. Because every now and then I would just have a break and be like, I'm just going to write this idea just to get it out of my head. And then I'd get it done. I'd be like, I like it so much. And keep going forward. And those works were successful for me because they're my voice. They're my art. They are what I wanted to do. And while there are things that I wish I had done better with each and every one of them, and there always will be, because the more we learn about the craft, the more we see the problems in our previous work. And that's going to be a perpetual process through the rest of our lives if we continue learning. And we should, so we don't, become J.K. Rowling. Well, I'm sorry, J.K. Look, Joanne, we need to talk. Just hit me up. We'll do an interview on the podcast. I'll put it out unedited. We need to talk about so many things. And I know you're never going to hear this, but I feel like if I keep putting those vibes out into the universe, maybe, just maybe it'll happen. But yeah, I wish I had learned to follow my bliss, to follow my heart, to write the stories that I wanted to tell about the people and the characters and the worlds that I wanted to tell, no matter how weird they were. Because people would look at a lot of my early fiction and tell me how weird it was and how strange it was and how unrelatable the characters were because they were gay. And I still get that one, by the way, every now and then. Now it's more like, do you have to have a trans character in every story? Like, yeah. Well, not every story, but most of them, yeah. But when it's all said and done, we have to stay focused on what we care about, because, oh, God forbid, I would have gotten an immense amount of success for a story I didn't care about. Like the original OG Liquid Sky. The editor I had for that book, which I trusted way too much, told me some very stupid things and made me do some things that I really should not have done. And I cut the queer characters out of the book, and I cut out an entire subplot, and that made the book make sense because that's what they thought I should do. And I was new and didn't know any better, and I just did it. And later rewrote it to put all that back in. But, if I had known then what I know now, I never would have done that. Because it's those weird quirks, it's those idiosyncrasies that make us interesting. It's what makes people actually care about our stories and about our work and about what we're doing. And in a lot of ways, I think that's what terrifies me about the project that I'm working on now. It has absolutely nothing to do with me. I mean, it doesn't. None of these characters are really analogs for my life. The very opening of the story is some people going to have a midnight picnic in the woods, and I used to do that. So that's probably as relatable as the story is for me, like in some ways, in most ways. But yeah, I don't, it's not personal in that way. Like, I'm not writing subtle autobiography, but there are things about these characters and about this world that are very revelatory of who I am and what my interests are. And it feels so oddly personal to be doing these things. I've never written a story that had a scene in it that was strictly there to fill the character with wonder. I've never done that. I've never done that before. I don't know why I've never done that before, but I've never done that before. I'm doing it now. Why am I doing it now? Because it felt right. It felt appropriate. It felt like the thing to do. So I did. And there it is. Is it going to stay in the finished book? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when we get to that part. That's for editing. That's when Bob's allowed to talk. Right now, Bob's got to shut up. Until then, I'm going to follow my heart. I'm going to write my story. And that is the most terrifying sentence I have ever uttered in my entire life. Because I'm not thinking about how my sister is going to feel about it, or because she reads like everything that I write, or how my friends are going to think about it, or some specific readers that I do know are going to think about it. I'm just telling this story the way I want to tell this story and having fun along the way. And that violates everything that I have learned. That violates everything that I know. And now I'm really putting myself out there. Like, this is my big debut. This is my first real book back. Because I've gotten to the other side of the depression. It's still trying to claw at me, but, I'm completely there. Like, I'm good. I'm exercising again. I'm up and moving around. And despite some physical problems that keep cropping up and causing pain, that's just life. I'm back. And in a lot better headspace than I've been in a long time, with the obvious exception of all the anxiety and stress that I'm feeling because, we're living through a horror movie in slow motion. with a Lovecraftian presidency that will one day ruin us all. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm working on my second debut novel. What are you doing? I would love to know. Down in the show notes, you'll find a link to the voice message system. Keep it short, keep it clean. I would love to hear from you. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram. I'm CE Dorset on both, and I'm really trying. Let me know what you want me posting over there, because it's not so much like I want to cater to y'all. It's just I need poking and prodding to get me to come out of my shell, because I just don't want to do that. And I don't mean like I don't want to do social media. It's like interacting with the world is hard for me right now. It's just something I don't feel comfortable doing. So yeah, poke, prod, help me get out of my shell. Anywho, you can also find links to everything that I'm doing over at projectshadow.com. Alrighty. If you've got a buck you can pass my way, in those same show notes, you'll find a link to both the listener support and my Patreon. Thank you to everyone who does that. You mean the world to me. If you don't have any money right now, now more than ever, I truly understand that. So don't worry about it. But if you know anybody you think would like anything that I do, please share it with them. That helps out more than you know. I mean, I do get paid for the ads and stuff. So, yeah, that helps. More people that listen, the more I make. So you can help by helping the show grow. Alrighty, I think that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Like, I really wanted to get this off my chest for a while, and I almost feel like I need to subtitle this an author confession, because it kind of was. Anywho, until next time, stay well, stay safe, and don't forget to have the fun. Bye.